Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing today?
Yeah!
Nice and loud. I like it. Helps encourage me to give a much more enthusiastic tour.
All right.
Before we begin, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Captain Adolf. I will be your, exactly. I will be your first mate, tour guide, friend, best friend. We'll see how things go, right? More importantly, over here to my right, we have the very beautiful, glowing Captain Zara at the wheel. Let's give her a warm welcome, everybody. Both Captain Zara and I are fully trained and licensed with Transport Canada. That means we're trained to handle all marine emergency duties, as well as advanced marine first aid. We are also your chief engineers on board, so long story short, you're in very capable hands. Legally though, I do have to point out some of the safety features on this boat. At the back, we have life jackets. They're dry from the previous tour. We also have life rings and a lifeboat. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions so far? No? If you do, feel free to write it down, think really hard about it, and then Google it when you get home. Bad joke. Feel free to just interrupt me. It helps break the monotony of my tour. So over here, we have the very glowing harbor front. I didn't really need to tell you that, but I do want to tell you that it wasn't always like this. Back in the 1970s, this area was quite industrial. You'd find shipping garages, factories, things like that. In fact, this green and beige building over here, it used to house cold and dry food storages. So it'd have things like spices, meats, vegetables, fruits. However, it was marked up for demolition. They took a wrecking ball to the side of that left corner and it just bounced right back. It's made of poured concrete, so it's very strong. And their investors realized that it was actually much cheaper to renovate it for $60 million. Now it serves as a space for restaurants, office spaces, clothing stores, Sobeys. At the top over there, those are condominiums. Vince Carter, formerly of the Toronto Raptors, used to own Unit 1207. He later sold it to AJ Burnett of the Toronto Blue Jays baseball team for $2.7 million. Top left corner is my room. Because I'm a student, I can afford it, right? As a relic of the revitalization period, we have that red brick building called the power plant. Does anyone know what it used to be? Not a trick question. It was a power plant. Now it serves as a space for modern art galleries. Any of you a fan of modern art? No? Well, if you were, you should be over there, right? It's free, so if you're a fan of free, head over there. We've also got free bathrooms. It's a very attractive feature as I make a tour the whole day. And here in Toronto, we're known for being very culturally diverse. We speak over 180 different languages here. That white and gray building, the Harbourfront Center, is basically what I like to call our buffet of cultural and creative things to do. So if you're into dancing, music, go there.
Where is it?
Right there, the white and gray building, connected to the WestJet stage. There you'll find pottery making, woodworking, metalworking, jewelry making, glass blowing, or glass shattering in my case. This front area freezes over in the winter and becomes a skating rink. It's where I learned how to do the hockey stop on my chin. There you have the WestJet stage. They're known for hosting internationally renowned acts. Just last week they had the Highland Dance Festival. If you're hearing classical music, I apologize. We usually pick up sound from other frequencies. It happens to all the boats here. The WestJet stage, I like to mention it because on Wednesdays they have free movie nights, so if you've got a hot date and you're looking for something cheap to do, take them there. Just don't tell them it's cheap though, or free. They'll make you look a lot better, right? Over there we have the white footbridge with the red banner that says "Follow the Policy Crossway." That was given to us by the Dutch royal family for harboring them during their exile in World War II. If you've seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, you've seen that bridge before. It's where the couple shared their first kiss. It's also where I shared my first kiss. How was that, Captain Zara? I got a thumbs up. Awesome. Let's go for round two. Over there we have the Amsterdam Brew House. They have 35 different beers, 28 of which are on tap. 4 patios, 3 of which are overlooking us right now. They've got a 525 seating capacity, natural high wooden beams, rows of fancy television. The Amsterdam Brew House hosts many violent nights and bar fights. Is what I would say if that were true. But it's not. Can anyone guess why? No? It's because of the Toronto Police Marine Unit right next door. Yeah. It's the one with the green roof building. Here in Canada, we're known for having the longest discontinuous coastline in the entire world. That sound you're hearing is actually for the CN Tower. Yep, we're picking up some of their frequency. As I was saying, we have the longest discontinuous coastline in the entire world, whereas Australia has the longest continuous coastline. That essentially means our nearest coast guard is all the way in Prescott, Ontario, which is 3 hours away from here. It doesn't really help if Captains were drowning out there and should have to trek for 3 hours, right? So what we did was we took our Toronto police, taught them how to do marine emergency duties, taught them how to operate speedboats, and put them right there with a 90-foot watchtower. But of course, the worst call we do get is something like help, I'm out of gas, please give me a tow. Heard it just last Saturday. It's quite hilarious. So yeah, they boast a response time about 2 minutes. They can get anywhere on this harbor in that amount of time, so they're very fast. Unfortunately though, nothing major ever happens here. So nothing like Baywatch. I'm pretty much the closest thing you'll find to David Hasselhoff. So there we have the CN Tower. It's blocking my view of the building right behind it. And it's also providing us with free classical music or whatever it's playing right now. I'm actually not going to talk about that just yet. I will talk about it on the second half of the tour, where you folks get a much better view. Trust me on this. It's postcard material. What I will talk about is its shorter, rounder neighbor, the Rogers Centre. Does anyone know what it used to be called?
Skydome.
There we go, Skydome. Skydome was in debt in 2005, so Rogers, a telecommunications company, bought them for about 4% of its original construction cost for $25 million. Very good deal, if it wasn't for the fact that they also inherited all its debts, so too bad. Now, if you're a true Torontonian, they'll call it the Skydome. Very appropriate, it's dome-shaped, its roof opens up to the sky. Its roof is made up of 4 panels. The northern panel stays stationary, while the other 3 retract. It's about 12.7 acres in size, or 56.8 million cubic feet in volume. To put that into perspective, you can fit 516 African elephants inside, or 8 747 Boeing planes. Now, although the Rogers Centre right now, or the Skydome, looks quite short, it's not. You can actually fit a 31-story building right inside it and close the roof quite comfortably over it. In 1992, they even made a world record for inflating 46 hot air balloon inside. Now, they have a video board. Their main video board is 33 feet tall and 110 feet wide. It's an LED display video board. It's capable of showing 4.3 trillion colors. And apparently, if you were to hit it with a ball and make a crack, it can replace that piece instantly. I don't know how that works. I'm not a technician. Well, the Skydome is now off to your left. Does anyone know what the largest attendance was? By any chance, what kind of event was it? No? Maybe the Pope? Dalai Lama? One of those two? No? No guesses there? Captain Zera's birthday? Very close. It was actually WrestleMania 18. Yeah.
It was not.
68,237 fans came. Nearly filled the entire seats. It was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock Johnson. Hulk Hogan lost. Second largest attendance was WrestleMania 6. Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior. Again, Hulk Hogan lost. So apparently here in Toronto, we really like our wrestling. Who knew? I didn't. Off to your right, you will find the Toronto Island Billy Bishop Airport. Quite a mouthful to say. That is the only man-made island here amongst the 15 islands in the Toronto Islands. It's made up of 177.3 acres of harbor dredging, so what that means is we dug up the harbor floor, put it on top of our garbage, and then put concrete all over it. It's home to Air Canada Express, which flies almost exclusively to and from Montreal about 12 times a day. Or Porter Airlines, which flies as far out to Halifax, as far south to Boston, Chicago, New York. Did anyone fly there from the airport by any chance today? No? That's too bad. I usually like to ask my audience so they can validate my facts as I talk. Something to know about Porter Airlines. They like to treat their passengers as their first class. So they would put you in leather seats, give you free Starbucks coffee for the whole ride. More importantly, you get free steam whistle beer. I'm not paid by Porter Airlines to say this, by the way, I just really like them. back in the 1940s, that island was actually used to train 120 Norwegian fighter pilots after Norway was invaded by Germany. The reason for that is because, well, they've got a 4,000 feet runway. It's very short, so it was ideal for training ground. So essentially, if you could take off and land there, you could pretty much do it anywhere in the world. They've even got a training academy there for pilots. So sometimes you would see small planes called Cessnas flying over, and it looks like they're about to perform some kind of drastic landing, but who did this training? Us captains like to rate them from 1 to 10. Both airlines, Air Canada Express and Porter Airlines, like to use planes that have twin propeller engines. The reason for that is because it's very quiet, and they have island residents here, so they don't want to be annoyed if they're using turbojets. They're very loud. And unfortunately though, because they're using twin propeller engines, they have a max flight time of about 2 hours. Very short. As I've been speaking, you may have noticed that we've been going around these white buoys. It's called the keep out zone, and we're doing just that, keeping out. We're doing that for safety and legal reasons. Back in the 1940s, the San McBride ferry, they were actually just sailing just beyond those white buoys. It was a dark, foggy night. A plane was coming into land. It mistook the mast headlights of the ferry and tried to land on it. Very disastrous. The ferry was heavily damaged. Unfortunately, 2 fighter pilots were killed. One was age 29, the other was age 23. So around my age. For legal reasons, we're keeping out because if we were to go in there, we'd be fined about $10,000. We'd also lose our licenses for the next 5 years. It's actually Captain Zera's first day back. As a joke, folks. She's a very good captain, well aware of the consequences. So just before we go into the islands, I'd just like to share some facts with you guys about the city of Toronto. We used to be called the city of Dublin, but then we were named after Duke of York, so then we were called the city of York. Now, we didn't want to be confused with our neighbors down south in New York, so we changed our name to Toronto after the Toronto Islands. The name Toronto is actually an Iroquois term, which means trees that stand in the water. So if you look out to your left, use your imagination, it does look like that, trees standing in the water. Very appropriate. Coming up to your right will be Hanlon's Point. The John Hanlon family were the very first to settle here in the 1860s. In fact, what you're looking at right now is Toronto's very first entertainment district. They established hotels, restaurants, casinos, bars. They even built a 10,000 seating baseball stadium. If you look beyond those flags, you'll be able to see a statue of their son, Ned Hanlon. But it's quite dark, so you might not be able to see it right now. Ned Hanlon was a very famous athlete here in Canada. He would row to and from the islands every day, so he got very good at it. He was a 6-time world champion rower. When he won a competition in 1876, his seat was installed with rollers that allowed his seat to move as he would row back and forth. That essentially revolutionized the sport of rowing. Nice job, Ned. Now, Hanlon's Point was also very popular in the 1920s for a very awesome reason. Can anyone guess why? Perhaps trying to recall your old history classes. It was because of Prohibition. So, in the States and Canada, it was illegal to produce, consume, and distribute alcohol. But for some reason, our politicians and doctors decided to keep whiskey legal for its medicinal purposes. Apparently it can cure the common cold. It works. Just last night, I tried it. But only if you're over 19. Are there any kids on board? Now, I did mention the 10,000 seating baseball stadium. Is anyone here a fan of baseball? Maybe? No? Doesn't matter, I have a cool story for you anyways. Very famous player, George Herman Babe Ruth, actually hit his very first professional home run here on September 5th, 1914. Legend has it, the ball flew all the way over and landed somewhere in these waters. That ball is now worth estimated to be over $1 million. So as you noticed, we have slowed down the boat for you guys. And your life jacket is at the back. If you do find it though, let's split it. 70-30. 70 for me because I have a boat. And you're gonna need it. The waters here get very cold even in the summer. You'd succumb to hypothermia in a matter of minutes.
Oh, look at that boat. Woo, look at the party. Woo!
That's all the way high. High obsession 3.
Oh, hello. That is a good boat. See that guy? The girl or whatever it was. Red gloves.
Speaking of things like that, if you look beyond those trees, actually before I say that, did anyone bring their bathing suits? No. You won't even need it because beyond those trees is Highlands Point Clothing Optional Beach. It's a polite way of saying it's a nude beach. It's one of only 2 here in Canada, the other being in Vancouver. Its waters are blue flag tested every day by the Environmental Defense of Canada, so it's very safe to swim in. That's pretty much all I know about it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask Captain Zara. She likes to visit there 3 times a day. She does not like tan lines.